Welcome back to Self Revelations. It's your boy B-Dev.
And I am Juan Moreno.
Man, it's been a long week, bro. It's been a long week. I feel like we haven't done a podcast in like a month, bro. I don't know why it's felt so long, but I don't know. Like I've just been counting down the days to coming back and doing one, and I don't know why I feel like it's been a while.
Right, I definitely enjoy doing this too, especially you coming out of your season 2.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like now we could maybe do more with it, because my biggest thing was try to have you just focus on football, try to keep a little bit less thought or energy into it, because any little energy you put anywhere is a lot, so because we only have so much focus on certain things. Us as humans, we're not meant to multitask, so the more you multitask, you're suffering a little bit of focus into something. So it's my biggest thing was making sure you don't put too much into the podcast, just focus on football, because that's number one almost. And then the podcast will come naturally, because it don't really take that much. I mean, we record, make some clips, mess around here and there, add new music. We just put it on all the platforms that we know how to do it right now at this moment. We have a little system right now, and then we're just gonna improve more and more. But yeah, I feel right, it's crazy when we think about it. When I talk to other people too, they're like, oh, y'all should do an episode every week. That's a lot. We're already on 20, what's this, what episode is
27
this? 27.
And it's bro, even if you think about it, some other podcasts, they'll probably shoot 2 a week, 3 a week, you know what I mean, 2 in a half episode, in a week, you know what I'm saying. We're just doing one, and being able to now, me being out of the season, obviously you're still on your grind, you're still doing your thing, but we're gonna have time to do more things, invest more time and energy towards this. So I think, now it's just gonna be the sky's the limit. This last 6 months is gonna be that home stretch, you know what I'm saying, and seeing how much we can grow, and considering how much we've grown already, it's really speaks volumes, bro. And I'm just so happy, the messages and stuff that we're getting from people, and how much engagement we're getting on each episode and each clip. It's just, people, coming in on the live last time and, hey, your podcast has really helped me during a bad time of my life. It's just perfect timing. You know what I mean? Some people are going through stuff, and some of the stuff that we're saying is helping them and molding them or guiding them in the right direction to go, because, people have 2 decisions, right or left, take the high road or, choose to stay, how they are. You either grow or you get worse, so, seeing people genuinely valuing our podcast, bro, and it's therapy for me. I don't know about you, but for me personally, it's therapy, being able to go on the weekly basis and talk about your week, talk about things that you're going through, talk about things that you've got through, things you experience, talking about different topics and things like that. It helps me mentally stay level-headed and grounded. So, especially during the season, going through stuff and being able to come here and discuss it, it's an outlet to let all that stuff out. So I really appreciate the platform that we have, and us continuing to, grow and be who we are, and be better.
I love what we do, because it's so different from everyone else. When you hear podcasts, or other people talk about other podcasts, or people, when they tell me, or they'll message us on any platform, they'll say there's nothing outside of us that we're original. The stuff that we talk about, we're literally, I'm sure there's probably somewhere out there is somebody, maybe I think there's somebody that is maybe doing what we're doing, maybe, I don't know. But from my knowledge is that we're speaking on a week to week basis of what we're going through, our success, our mindset at this moment, what we're focused on. It's literally a daily update, a weekly update of what we're going through, and we're pretty transparent in what we're talking about. The vulnerability is out there, and the people are connecting to it, because they're also going through some of the things that we talk about. So getting that feedback back, and seeing little by little each week, we're gaining support from people that never heard of us or we don't know, from different states, a country, a city, maybe even nearby. I think that's the most I don't know, for me it's just incredible, bro. Like people know us on a podcast and
It's
like
crazy.
yeah, and like I mean, I love that people also share it too. So people are talking about it to other people, and then having them come follow. And like there's a message on TikTok I forgot to show you too. It was like a few days ago. They were saying that, oh, somebody that I know, one of my family members follows you guys. He showed me it, and then I watched, and like I'm gonna like this is my favorite podcast. Like I've heard a few people, even like I don't know if you've seen some of the reposts too that we'll make.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, this is my new favorite podcast, or like, oh, I think I just found a new podcast. Like that's crazy to me. Like holy shit,
It's wild to see.
to start it from nothing. Like remember like from like our first TikTok video, like us like putting this stuff together, and then from us going on to the I still remember that. It's such a monumental moment. We were walking at Woodward.
Yeah.
It all started there, I think.
And we were talking about our goals, like, one of the things that I remember very, very vividly from us walking and talking is like, it doesn't matter how much money we make doing this. It doesn't matter, how many people we inspire. If it's just one person, say everybody hates us, and there's one person that genuinely is inspired by us and makes the changes in their lives and for the better, and can be molded, or not, I wouldn't say be molded, but can genuinely make better decisions based on like the advice that we give, or get through a tough time in their life based off the advice that we give, then it's all worth it. You know what I mean? It's not about our money. We're not making anything doing this. We're doing this because out of the kindness of our hearts and being able to discuss these things that we've dealt with in life. So, having this platform and us talking, having that talk, bro, and it helped me too. It helped me stay aligned too, because, my mentality coming into it was, I didn't even think about the aspect of it being therapy for us. And you brought that up to me, like, bro, this is going to be like, cause I, other than me and you having these conversations, I remember you said like, other than me and you having these conversations, being able to have them on a platform and having these talks, bro, is going to be like therapy because of the stuff that we're talking about. And, like, obviously we're not going to talk about everything off rip, I still have some things that I haven't discussed, but, it's gonna come. Everyone's timing is different. Everyone's timing when they talk about stuff or seek help about certain situations is different. But I do appreciate us having a platform where I can like discuss anything that I'm going through as of to date. You know what I'm saying? So, like it's nothing I'd rather be doing, bro. Because at the end of the day, like we can be doing anything. You know what I'm saying? You can be choosing to make more money doing something like at this time. I could be choosing to make more money doing something at this time. Hey, bro, no, actually, I can't do the podcast this week. I'm making money, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that, or bro, I'm training. Like at the end of the day, like we're spending this time and taking this time for each other to not for each other, but for ourselves to meditate and get into these deep talks and deep thought about situations, topics, and experiences that we've been through.
Yeah. I don't know. I just love the impact that we're creating by other people telling us the impact. So I think I'm just extremely thankful for it. Man, but, to move on from this, like, there's one thing I did want to kind of, like, touch into. I just thought about it right now. We were kind of talking about it a little bit before, too. It's, like, when it comes to, like, relationships, like, how difficult – I don't want to say how difficult it is, but like the first few months of the year is like tremendous. You're getting to know each other, like lovey-dovey, all this stuff, and then you get to a point where like trial and tribulations, you start to feel like you know each other, and then like certain things might bother you, or that person might do something to like bother something that or trigger something inside you. Like let's say if you have either trust issues or you have certain insecurities about yourself, like now only share what you're comfortable with sharing, but like when it comes to you, what's one thing you feel that you can work on in relationships?
Trust, bro, because you gotta understand, like going into a relationship, I don't care what nobody says, like going into a relationship, you're gonna be skeptical to some sense, even subconsciously. When certain things happen or certain things like you just like, because I'm an overthinker, so when I think about certain things and it's like situations pop up and I'll be like, damn, like, bro, is that what it is? Or like, am I tripping? Or I think about every bad scenario that could possibly happen. I think about it and it's just like, that doesn't do nothing for you, but, harm you or harm the situation. So, you reading the four agreements over and over and over and over again and trying to apply it, bro. Like I've tried to read and apply it and do it. You could say all that you want. You could say I read it so how many ever times, but until you actually apply it, bro, it doesn't mean anything. So, when you go back to like not assuming and doing your best and not taking anything personally, like it genuinely hits the core when it's like relationship, because it's like you're dealing with love, you're dealing with someone else. You know what I mean? And my girl has done nothing but wonders for me, because like dealing with the shit I've put her through already, it's just like, I like, if it was the stick was on the other end, like it would have been tough for me. Like I don't know if I would have been able to do it, but out of love she had for me and being patient with me, it's helped us and made our bond even stronger. You know what I'm saying? But trusting somebody, bro, is stuff that I'm still working through, because I don't put anything past anybody. But at the same time, like, bro, you gotta have some sort of, if someone doesn't show you any patterns or anything like that, or you don't see no red flags, bro, like, why are you sitting there worried and thinking about all the different scenarios of what bad could happen? You know what I mean? If that person is being good to you and showing you how much they love you or how much they respect you, and they're constantly showing up for you, so to speak, there's no reason for you to overthink, because you're carrying on stuff from other relationships onto that relationship, and that person had nothing to do with that. So the best thing to do is just like, keep everything like, don't take anything personally. For sure have the four agreements. And don't take anything personally, and as it pertains to the relationship, don't assume.
Yeah. Excuse me. Alan Watts, this like British philosopher, I take a lot of his knowledge and perspectives, like with a lot of things in life. One of the best things that I remember, it clicked with me, like, it's funny, like the four agreements and like certain scriptures or like Bible verses or a certain advice at a certain moment, like you might have heard a lot of things growing up, but then not until you get older or time passes by where that one phrase just clicks. Like for me, I have all these phrases. Like I have like the most critical moments of my life. When I was like 13 years old or 14, I was in high school. Like I was not consistent. I was terribly, like I had always believed I had all the talent and all the skills, but I just lacked discipline. And I remember I was just in my room, super depressed. I was looking back. I went on a run yesterday. That was yesterday. Yeah, I went on a run yesterday, and I was reflecting on that run, and I was just thinking about a lot of things. And I was just thinking about, holy crap, man, you were really suffering from mental health so bad. Like I was like literally suffering. Like, and I was just thinking about those moments when I was in the room, and like it was all in my head. Everything was like all in my head, and I was just thinking about that. Oh my God, why are you laughing?
I don't know.
I couldn't help myself.
I don't know, bro. My bad. I don't mean to go. Just keep going, bro. Keep going.
I was about to start shedding a tear and everything.
Bro,
about to be all serious.
Why am I fucking laughing, bro? My bad, bro.
That's funny as shit. Well, before I was rudely interrupted, and I was getting in my feelings. No, but really what I was trying to get to was like, Alan Watts did say something in the words of, we suffer more in our imagination more than we do in reality. Like we suffer more like in here than what's actually in front of us. I don't know who said this. I heard it today, but it was like in the words of, man thinks and God laughs. And I was in the shower hearing this shit, and I just heard it, because I literally just play like either like speeches or like certain topics, and I like to listen to it anywhere. Like I'll be driving, or I'll be in the shower, or I'm running. Like I like to hear like conversations or motivational stuff. but not in the sake for like to get motivation. There's a lot of words and phrases and things that are being said that really work in your life, and that's the one. Like you tie in that we as people suffer more in imagination than we do in reality, and then you tie in man thinks, God laughs, is that we think too much. Like we think more than we do. And so I started putting that perspective, like especially when it comes into relationships, that sometimes you assume so much, assuming you're thinking. Assuming is not an action thing, right? Unless you think and then do an action based off an assumption. But with like thinking I'm sorry, not with thinking, but cause I had terrible trust issues too. Like, I had my family stole money from me. I had stole money from my own family, like because of, just growing up in that environment. It was a dog eat dog world. Everybody trying to survive, trying to get, whatever you can get, to try to underhand somebody. Like you made $10, but you told them you only made 8, so you keep the extra 2. Like I grew up with people doing that to me, and then I started also doing that to other people. And I'll see my family and friends that would cheat. I thought that was a normal thing, and then it'll develop in my mind that it would develop it was normal to like do these things. And then I got to a certain point where these trust issues would dig deeper and deeper to then every single person I was with. Like you kind of said earlier too, like it almost feels like it's too good to be true. Like sometimes it's like, nah, I don't deserve this, or either like this is going too easy, like something's not. And that's just the way, like I was, like if I look at myself, like you can only speak for yourself. Like for me, it's kind of like I've never seen an example of like a good relationship ever. Like I came from like a broken home with my parents. Like when they divorced, it wasn't the best divorce either. Like it was messy. And then I kind of grew up with that. So I always thought, messy, or when times get tough, you leave. So I kind of like then started to almost do this in my relationship right now, to then like from talking and seeking guidance from everybody, and like being open about this type of stuff to everyone with no care of any judgment. It started to make me realize like, oh, you're supposed to work through these things. Like I didn't know, like I thought a relationship was supposed to be like golden, and you don't really have. I thought ups and downs were like circumstances, like external things, like like your lady gets in a car accident, you get sick, or you lose your job, or you're in debt, or like, I thought it was more like external things. Sometimes things you can control, things that you can't control. But then I never thought that, oh, you like also like your habits, like your own like internal conflicts with yourself, whether you have trust issues, whether you have insecurities, whether you have trouble confiding into somebody, or you're always tensed. Like I didn't know those type of things you work through in a relationship. Like, and that's the one thing I've been learning too, is like trying to be more patient. And when I say patient, is like understanding the person and trying to make that person better, but also making an agreement with yourself. Like you want to be with this person forever, or like not forever, but you want to share this life with the person at this moment. So you're willing to work all this stuff out. But obviously you have to have your own boundaries. Certain things are not tolerable and not worth hashing. Other people are going to look at it different. For me, I don't look at cheating something we can work through. I think like if you cheat, like, and if I don't like know, or you just do something behind my back and then you lie to me the whole time, that's something I can't forgive. I mean, I will forgive you for the sake as a person made a mistake, but I'm just at a point where I don't need that in my life. Like I don't need to, work this type of thing out. I don't have the time to deal with the heavy conscience in my head and the guilt of like, you could be doing this again. I don't have that in me. And when a person would cheat, I would cheat. Like it just doesn't work out. So like I have certain things with me, like I know I can't do in a relationship, and certain things I can tolerate. Like if you're trying to learn because of how you grew up, like trauma or whatever happened in your life caused you to think this way. I've got to the point now, which I have, but I think the more it goes, you start to really realize how important it is to actually really work those things out more. Because it's hard to find somebody who's going to work through your like traumas. And if you have somebody like that, any person that's attracted to you because they're interested and want to be with you outside of that relationship, it's just a lust moment. So that's the one thing, I had trouble with, is like letting go of temptation, not having a boundary, and then also trying to, you know, actually work it out with this person, because who knows if I'm ever gonna find a person who I have right now in this moment in my life. And yeah, I could maybe find somebody, but that's a lot of effort. That's a lot of time. I have what I have, and that's perfect. I need to be grateful for that. And so sometimes you gotta cherish and like let go and stop overthinking and stop making assumptions and just try to work to be better. That was a lot, but yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, the grass isn't always greener. But, you know, in your relationship, you know, one of the questions I have for you, like, you know, did you deal with anxiety in the relationship as well? Because it's just like, I know me coming into a relationship, it was just kind of like, damn, because I haven't really like been in a lot of relationships. I'd say like 4 or 5, and you know, half of those weren't really good experiences. So, you know, coming into a relationship, it was just like, I don't know why it'd be like so nerve wracking. Like, damn, like what if like the whole time this person is just like, what if there's another reason for this person being with me or whatever it may be, or just little shit that like I would like think. But you know what helped me like during like those times is like, you know, one of the scriptures I got tatted on myself, you know, for God didn't give you a conscience of cowardice, but of one of power, love, and soundness of mind. So, you know, he didn't give you a spirit to be scared, to be fearful, or, you know, to run around and be anxious. You know what I mean? Like especially when someone is showing you like all their good qualities and being real with you from day one. You know what I mean? They ain't showed you nothing. Like I said earlier, like you shouldn't be anxious and worried about that. You know what I mean? Not, if it's not presented right in front of you. Like obviously if someone cheats on you, obviously, you know, do what you got to do. But if someone's, you know, being good to you, respecting you, you know, doing what they're supposed to do, you know, there's no point of sitting there overthinking about those things. You know what I mean? And power, love, and soundness of mind, like, you know, he gave you a spirit and he gave you a mind to think. Like, so, like, you know, add it up. You know, all this person's doing all these good things for you and being there for you and rocking with you, like you said, like you're in a perfect situation. So why even think, or why even want something else? You know what I mean? You don't know what the future holds. You know what I'm saying? You might not find a person like that ever again. Next person you might deal with might be the worst thing you've ever dealt with. You know what I mean? So just you got to appreciate and love that person and be grateful for them being in your life as of right now. And, you know, at the end of the day, like, you know, just showing love to that person, because you don't know how much time you have left or they have left on this earth.
Yeah. I think the best type of person you can have in your life is somebody who gives you like a peace of mind.
Facts.
Like if you struggle with like trust, somebody who makes it so easier for you to trust them will then show you what trust is. Like I never understood what trust was until I met my lady of right now. Like she's the first woman I ever had in my life to show me what trust is, and to be able to let go of like all those thoughts of like, man, it's suspicious, or man, she's taking a little bit too long to reply. Like doing little things like, man, she said 5 minutes. It's been 15 and a half. like these little things, like you start creating these scenarios, like you start connecting dots that don't even connect really. You just start randomly just connecting these dots in your head, that the possibilities of this and that. And like a lot of it's like trust issues, insecurity, and a lot of things for me, I realized within myself in relationships was ego. Like I have a huge ego at certain times, like not all the time. I think you can have good, healthy ego, and then you can have that ego that's detrimental. Like too much ego, a little bit too less of ego. Like I don't know if there's a balance, but you have to just be able to check yourself and to realize, like, I always try to remind myself like I ain't shit. Not saying like I'm a bad person, but like I'm just human. Like I'm no one better than, like, I'm not God, right? Like I'm not nobody to be bowed upon or like looked up as a higher than you. I don't like that. I don't like the feeling of that, because like I feel like then it makes you feel less of yourself. Yet I'm more here to empower you, if anything. Like I want you to be the best version of yourself. Like I want you to have the confidence. I want you to do all these things that you want in your life, or the things that you struggle with, or the things that you want to get better at. I want you to aim for that. I don't want you to depend on me. I don't want you to look at me like I'm the answer of all or whatever. Or your confidence comes from me. I don't like doing that. I don't like taking credit for anything. Like, you did the work, you know what I mean? Like, I just maybe pushed you, guided you a little bit. I did 1% of 99% of what you did. Like, I want to help give you that also peace of mind that you give me. So, and that's the one thing I'm trying to do is, like, you know, and that's why I say, man, like, you know, like you see a lot of people, right? I've met a lot of people that are super dope people, like, you know, charismatic and stuff like that. But then, like, when then they get when you get surrounded with them in their relationship and stuff like that, they hate each other. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, for me, it doesn't make sense. And like, either you haven't worked through it, you're working through it, or there's a conversation that hasn't been had. And for me, I'm trying to be a leader, right? So like, what more of a best example I can be as a leader than to be with the woman or the person that you're with? So like, you know, I always say that the people closest to you, like, if you want to be a leader, if you want to be somebody that wants to make an impact, or you want to really help people and do something, it starts with like your circle. And then from there, like, the other people then, you know, like this podcast will then connect with other people and like impact them as well, just by us being vulnerable and honest. And then also just trying to, you know, influence others, and especially the ones that are closest to us, to be able to speak highly of us because of how we actually are, not just on camera or like what you hear or what I say, but we have living testimonies from the people around us. So that's what I'm about, you know. What are people going to say at your funeral? And that's just how I live my life. And just by being honest, fucking up if I make a mistake. If I believe this is the answer and I fully believe it, and tomorrow I realize I was wrong, I'll tell you I was wrong. And so, like, you got to have that humility, too, in the relationship. If not, you know, egos just gets higher, too much, detrimental.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And if you were to, you know, have advice, say you could give someone one piece of advice going into a relationship that might be in the mentality of like, maybe niggas ain't shit, or women ain't shit, or nobody can handle me, or whatever it may be, and they're, you know, they're struggling to actually make connections with people, and say they do find someone, what advice would you give them that could possibly help them in maybe building a good relationship with somebody that, you know, is genuinely interested in them?
I would say be with somebody that's totally opposite of you. Like, somebody that's completely different. Like, different music, different, like, where they came from, like, different environment they were raised in. You want somebody that breaks that pattern. You don't want to keep going out with the people you went in high school with, or like you went in elementary with. You got to get out of that circle, that town. You got to get with somebody that's outside that city, like that town, that city. You got to get with somebody with a whole different mindset. Or you should get with somebody that you envision yourself with, that will put you on your shit. Like, I the worst thing I ever want is for somebody to enable me to be lazy. Like, I want somebody to hold me, like, accountable. Like, if I say I'm gonna run tomorrow, make sure I run tomorrow. And any excuse that I honestly, I want somebody to put me on my shit. Like, you say you're gonna run, you're not running. Like, I want that shit. I don't want, it's okay, you ran yesterday. Kind
of like your push-ups?
Yeah. I don't want none of that shit. I just need somebody like to hold me accountable, because like, you need that shit. Like, you know, it's hard to, you know, seek that if you never had that, or it might not be in you. Like, it's hard to, you know, be consistent, and to, like, in order to break a pattern or to self-reflect, you need somebody to put you on your shit. You should be with somebody that you believe is smarter than you, or better than you, or that's chasing something that's greater than you, for them to check you on, like, your shit. Because sometimes we think we got it. Sometimes there's certain moments where we think we got it all solved, and somebody will then tell you, like, oh, pump your brakes. Like, that's not the truth right now. Like, whatever you're speaking is whatever trauma you got going on in your life, but you're not going to talk to me that way just because your last relationship did that to you. Like, I'm not that person. So you need that type of person, not somebody who is just like everybody else you've been with, or somebody who's just like you. Like, you want somebody that's completely a shapeshifter, somebody who will break that pattern of, like, what you believe. That different perspective. You need somebody that's completely different.
Facts. That's beautiful, bro. That's a beautiful way to put it. Beautiful advice that you have. And, I know you're speaking from experience, bro, and I really do appreciate that, and I think that's one of the reasons why, like, this podcast is doing so well too, is because we have a difference of opinion as well, but it doesn't mean like we can't talk about topics. It doesn't mean we can't agree on certain topics. That doesn't mean that you know this won't be successful. You know what I mean? Like, because at the end of the day, like, whether it's in a relationship, business, whatever it may be, you need somebody. Nobody needs a yes man, or a yes woman. Woman's just gonna be like, oh yeah, oh yeah, I'm gonna sit on my ass every day for the next 60 days and play video games. Oh yeah, sure, go do it. Or I'm if they know you're doing something, maybe you're not doing something on the right, you're not doing anything on the right path. Like, they're just gonna yes man you. You know what I mean? Just because they're afraid of having a certain opinion, and you might get mad at them, or that should be there. You know what I mean? Like you said, in a relationship, like, you should have a woman that's gonna push you to be the best person that you can be, and that when you give them excuses, say, no, you said you were gonna run today. You said you were gonna do a marathon this month. You said you were gonna do this. Hold you to that standard. Mm-hmm. So, but I think that's all beautiful, and I really do appreciate that input that you gave. Mm-hmm. But I think that's gonna do it for this episode. I really do appreciate everything that you were saying, the advice that you were giving, and I always love the conversations, bro. I feel like we're doing amazing, like, with everything that we're doing, like the YouTube and Spotify. Putting the polls on the Spotify, like, hey, what type of topics do you guys want to hear? How do you guys like last episode? Yada yada yada. And people are actually going on there and watching too. So that's amazing. We're gonna get you guys everything. We're gonna get everything on Apple Music too, Apple Podcasts as well, within the next week or two. So we appreciate you guys. We thank you guys for tuning in with us and supporting us. And we're building like a legit community, and hopefully we can inspire and help anybody that comes in contact with our podcast. But we appreciate you, and thank you for tapping in with us on Self-Revelations Podcast. Bro, you did good, bro.
You think so?